Hey guys, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're building a coffee shop or a cafe, and that's the actual venue top is a cafe, but we're building a little coffee. I don't know what the difference is. What's the difference between a coffee shop and a cafe? I feel like there is one, but now that I'm actually talking to you guys and doing this voiceover, I'm not actually sure that a coffee shop is an actual thing, but I feel like it is because I feel like when you watch Friends, the Central Perk, that's a coffee shop, right? I feel like it is. I don't know. Hopefully it is, because that's probably what I'm going to be calling this throughout this whole voiceover. But if that's wrong, I'm sorry. Anyway, back to actually talking about the build. I got a little sidetracked, but we're building a little coffee shop today. And so the reason I wanted to build this was because last week I built the Michelson's home, and I could have sworn that in their household description it said that they met at a coffee shop. But I just went back and double checked, and that's not what it says. It says they met at their startup, and then they went out for coffee, I guess, for their first date or something like that. But I don't know why I had that in my mind, but I felt like it said that they had met at a cafe or a coffee shop. And so I wanted to build that in San Sequoia, which is where we are building today. And then shortly after I had kind of decided possibly to build a little coffee shop for Celeste and Christopher, I saw this on my Pinterest, so I'll go on and put the picture up on the screen now where you guys can see it and see what I was going for. But this came up on my Pinterest, and it is the cutest little restaurant. I think it's a restaurant. To be honest, I'm terrible about reading the description of the pins when I'm trying to build them. But I feel like it was like a restaurant or a cafe or something in Thailand, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but it should be on my Pinterest if you guys are interested in checking it out. I should have it pinned by the time you guys are seeing this video. But yeah, this popped up on my Pinterest, and I just thought it was the coziest looking space, and it just looked like such a fun place to be. And so I decided to kind of build this for our little coffee shop. It also looked like the kind of build that I could kind of tuck into a residential area, and we are in a little residential neighborhood today. So this is the Gilbert Gardens neighborhood, which I've only built one house here so far, and it was my grandparents' house that I built pretty early on. But I haven't built here a whole lot, but it is very residential. The rec center is also in this neighborhood, so maybe not as much, but this area does have a very residential look about it. As I move the camera around, you guys can see the live edit little houses around, and it does look very much like a little neighborhood. But I was thinking about it, and I was thinking that I really love places that have businesses like this, really cozy businesses like restaurants and cafes and all that kind of stuff. Bookstores. I really love places that have that kind of tucked into really residential neighborhoody areas. Like, they can be so cozy, you know, when you find a little coffee shop or a bookstore or something like that, you find that in a little neighborhood. I don't know if any of this is making sense. I probably sound a little crazy, but I don't know how to describe it. But I've been to a few places like this where you're in a very residential kind of area, and then you stumble upon a little restaurant or a cafe or something, and they just have such a good vibe. I feel like very homey and everything like that. And so I just really like places like this. So I feel like it fits the vibe. I feel like it works out. Also, we're going to put a ton of trees on this lot, so it kind of blocks out other people's houses and yards. So it looks a little bit more like a commercial place, and it wouldn't bother you, you know, to have that next door or something. Hopefully it wouldn't anyway. But I mean, none of that really matters because it's The Sims, but I have been to some cities that have kind of like situations like this, and I just think it's really cool. So we do pretty much have the shell of the build done right now, and so it doesn't look exactly like the inspiration picture because I wasn't totally sure how to do that, but it's kind of got this little wooden wallpaper from the Get Together pack on some parts of it. And then I used the base game, I want to say it's like a plaster wallpaper, but it's the one that has the kind of white bricks on it. It's one of my favorite base game wallpapers. It's so pretty. But I used that for most of the build, and then I used some exposed brick as well that I think is from City Living, but I'm not 100% sure about that. And then I did include some seating outdoors, so I have all these little tables, and I have a picnic table as well. And I just think that looks really cute. I just really like it. And then for the landscaping is a little bit weird because I actually used a lot of plants from the Get Together pack instead of the Growing Together pack, but there's a reason for that, and that's because right now I can't find the landscaping items from the Growing Together pack. I think it's something to do with the tool mod, and I probably need to just update stuff, and I'm just haven't done that because I've been lazy. But yeah, for some reason I'm missing the Growing Together debug plants, like the live edit stuff. I have some of the debug stuff, I just don't have any of the plants, and so I couldn't really use that. And I really like the get together. Now I'm getting confused. I really like the get together plants and stuff. I think I've said this before in like really old videos, but that pack has some of the prettiest flowers and plants, and so I'm fine with it. I think it looks fine. I mean, it definitely doesn't totally look like a San Sequoia build, but I feel like it's okay. But also, I have already placed down some trees, but I am going to change them out because later on I found a tree from the outdoor retreat pack, I'm pretty sure. It's also like debug or live edit one, but it has these little lantern lights all over the bottom of it, and I have never seen that tree before. I have no idea where it's been hiding, but I absolutely loved it. As soon as I saw it, I knew I was going to trade out the trees because it just adds to the vibe of this build. And yeah, so I am going to swap out that tree up in the front. I'm going to swap that out for the lantern tree, which is just absolutely gorgeous. But then another thing about this build that I will go on and tell you, because I think we're about to start working on it, is that I added a kind of secret studio style apartment underneath this build. So it's in the basement. And I just added a little ladder out the back door. And I was thinking about it. I'm not even 100% sure why I added this in. But I think because when I built my cat cafe, I had added in an apartment. I think to actually live in a property like that, you have to have some kind of mod. But then some of you guys were telling me on the cat cafe that you can just go to the lot and just not leave the lot, and you can kind of work around it, and you can live on a business lot, if that makes sense. I feel like nothing I said just made sense, but hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I decided to add in a little apartment in case anyone wanted to own the cafe and live there. Or I'm not 100% sure if you can own a cafe because I don't have the get to work pack, and I think that's where that came from. So I'm not 100% sure about all that. But anyway, there is a secret little apartment underneath this coffee shop. And it's a studio style with one full bed, but it does have a bathroom and a kitchen and like a very, very small living area and stuff like that. So it is like a little studio apartment. And as I was building it, I was kind of thinking about it, and I thought maybe it could be something like one of the people that work here, they kind of found the storeroom underneath the coffee shop that nobody uses anymore. And it was full of boxes and, nobody went down there. And then they kind of decided to just move in. I thought that would be kind of funny. And then also I was thinking as I was actually building the interior for the little apartment, which is one of the last things I do in this build. But I was thinking about it and I thought maybe it could be like a thieves' den situation. And you could have like a sim in the criminal career. I don't know how hard that would be because you do have to leave the lot a few times for your work and stuff. So I'm not sure how difficult any of that would be to actually play like that, but hopefully you guys know what I was going for with that. But there is just a random apartment underneath this coffee shop. And as I was playtesting it, Sims do just go down there randomly. They kind of just make their way down there, and I don't really know why because there's nothing down there that's actually part of the cafe, but they just go down there and chill and talk to each other down in that apartment, so it's a little bit weird. But the ladder is completely functional. As always, I did playtest this build and everything was functional. I think the only thing that wasn't functional was one of the little bookcases. You guys know the ones that they changed. They used to be the little decorative books that you could put up on the table, but then they changed it with some update so that those books actually count as a bookcase as well. Maybe it was around the time of Tiny Living or something like that, but I do remember that they updated that to where those would count as bookcases. So that's on one of the little tables because I had forgot to add a bookcase into the interior of this, and I thought this is the kind of place that would have a bookcase. I feel like this is the kind of place you could go to hang out and read, and so I had added that one in, but it doesn't actually work because of where it's placed on the table. Your Sims can't actually get to it, so if you click on it like you want your Sims to interact with it, they're actually going to go downstairs and use the one in the apartment. They're going to try to go downstairs and go down the ladder. But I have mentioned this before in one of my other speed builds that I don't really think about bookcases too much when I'm playtesting because you can always manually click on them and just drag out whichever book you want. That's what I always do when I'm playing anyway. I just drag the book that I want my Sim to read into their inventory so that they don't have to get up, which is probably a little bit lazy. But yeah, that's the only thing that I can think of that wasn't functional. I think I fixed anything else that was having problems. With this build, I actually even tested all the planter boxes, which I don't normally do. But I even tested all of these because I had a lot of clutter around them and a bunch of stuff that I don't normally have. And so I checked those. I had to move them around a little bit to get them to work, but they all are working in the end. So you have like a community garden space as well here. And I included that outdoor grill. And so I tried to add a bunch of stuff for your Sims to do other than just get a coffee and talk. And so hopefully I got enough activities in there. I also put in the backyard, I don't know if you guys noticed because I was talking over it, but in the backyard I put some of the little bee boxes. I'm not sure what they're called, so that's what I'll call them, bee boxes. I think they came from the Seasons pack. I haven't actually used them a lot in gameplay, so I don't really know that much about what they do. But I think you can bond with the bees and stuff like that. And they are in the backyard along with some more planter boxes. And I think I put a woodworking table back there as well. And then there's at least one chess table. I think I may have gotten 2 chess tables in the build. And then, of course, just tons of dining and seating, like tables and stuff like that all around. I think I put an outdoor bar as well. And so, yeah, I really tried to include a bunch of activities. And then there's some more stuff on the interior, too, we'll talk about a little bit later. But the first thing I made in the inside was the bathroom, which is pretty small. But I basically just included 2 little tiny 2-tile rooms for the toilet area. Then I just put 1 sink for everyone to use on the wall with the window because I didn't want to put a toilet or anything there by the window because I know that bugs some people. And it would definitely be a little bit weird, especially for a community venue. So I just put a sink back there. I did try to include one of the little diaper changing tables because, like I said, when I was building this, I was building it thinking of Christopher and Celeste. And they have a family now. They have some kids. And so I thought, oh, I'll include a little diaper changing station because maybe this is somewhere they still come with the kids and hang out, which I guess it technically could be because they did kind of get to know each other over coffee. But I couldn't get it to be functional while I was playtesting, or it was actually stopping other stuff from working. So the Sims couldn't get to the sink because of it, and they couldn't open the door because of it. And I didn't want to move the door. It's from the Spa Day pack, and it looks like a little bathroom door. And so I didn't want to change it out. I didn't want to turn it around to where the little bathroom decal was on the other side. And so I just didn't do that. I just got rid of the diaper changing station. So that's not there anymore. But also with the bathroom, I grabbed a bunch of the what would you call it? Posters? Yeah, posters. That shouldn't have been that hard to think of. But yeah, I grabbed a bunch of the posters. Some of them are from base game. Some of them are from the Get Together pack. I think I even grabbed some of the wall graffiti from the Get Together pack as well. And I kind of just put that on the bathroom walls along with some of the cork boards, kind of wanting it to look like a little bit of a notice board or somewhere you could pin up your band poster. Stuff like that. You know, I feel like you see that stuff in really trendy places, and that's what I was going for with this, and so that's what all that's about in the bathroom. So it also helped add a little bit of decoration as well. And then in the main part of the cafe, we have the cafe bar, of course, that's essential, and then some decorations behind it. And then I also included a back door as well because we have that apartment, and so I wanted it to be like an employee entry and exit. Not that Sims would use it that way, but that's what I was going for. And also, I forgot to mention this while I was doing the exterior, but I grabbed one of the debug trucks, and it kind of looks like a delivery truck to me. It might be a little bit too much. If you guys want to delete it, if you download this, just feel free. It doesn't matter. If you want to change anything, it doesn't matter to me. You guys know that. But I did include the little delivery truck because I thought maybe it would look like they had just brought in some coffee or some stuff for the shop. And so I kind of have it look like it's backed up, and I put a bunch of boxes around it and stuff like that. And I just thought that was really cool and kind of a cute detail. But then when I was finishing up the front of it, I didn't want you guys to be able to notice the truck. And so I added a bunch of trees and stuff. And yeah, it's a little bit weird, but that's what the little truck is supposed to be for. It's supposed to look like a little delivery truck out there. But then I also did grab a microphone for the interior. So I put a little microphone area over there with a little stool, and it's supposed to look like a little performing area. And it does work. I did play test that, so your Sims can use the microphone. And I had to move the guitar around for them to be able to use it, but they can also pick up the guitar and play as well. And so it kind of looks like, it kind of has a little bit of a, you know, trendy vibe like I was talking about. And then the other side where you have all the windows is kind of like a casual seating area. Most of the actual seating areas for this cafe, like the regular table and chairs, are on the exterior. They're on the outside of the build. But I do have one on the inside, and then I included another little bar seating area, which I think I talked about in my last speed build. I'm pretty sure it was the Michelson's house. But I figured out how to do that and include some couches, but your Sims actually still be able to sit on them. And so you guys will see it in the very last screenshot thing of this video, the little end screen. You guys can see the Sims actually sitting on it. none of them would get up when I actually started recording. They wouldn't stop getting up before I started recording. You guys know how it is. But anyway, but I did take a video of them sitting there. I just don't have a video of them moving around because I mentioned this in that last speed build. They will walk through the couch because of the way that I made that area. They walk through it because the couch is in the basement technically. So it looks a bit weird for them to actually get into the seat, but then when they actually are sitting there, it looks very nice, in my opinion anyway. But yeah, if you guys did want to delete those couches as well, just get rid of it if you don't like the way it looks and just put some regular chairs there. I also included a puzzle table as well up in that area. So for the interior activities, you have, of course, the cafe area, and you have a microphone, a guitar, and then the puzzle table and a little TV as well. So there's plenty to do at this little coffee shop if you guys like having a lot of activities like that. So now for the studio apartment, like I was talking about, this is a little bit weird. Some people may not want to keep it in the game because, like I said, you will have some Sims wander down here and kind of hang out. I don't really know how to prevent that. Maybe if your Sim owns the cafe, then they can lock the doors. I don't know. Let me know if you guys know the answer to that. Let me know. But when you are just on the lot regularly, then they can't do any, you can't lock the doors, you can't do anything about it. You could let your Sim come down here and then just delete the door, and then that would keep other Sims from coming down here and kind of being in your space. But yeah, I did have a lot of Sims wander down here while I was playtesting, so it was kind of a thing. They would just come chill in the living area and talk, and so it was kind of weird. But yeah, the only way that I would know to get around that would be to delete the door, or maybe if you could put something in front of the door while your Sim was down here. It's a bit of a pain though to do that. But yeah, anyway, this is the little bedroom area, and I did include a duffel of cash. Is that what it's called? A duffel bag of cash, maybe? I included that because at that point I had kind of thought about the criminal career, like I was talking about earlier. I thought maybe it could be someone who's kind of trying to lay low, or maybe the person who originally set up this apartment down here secretly. Maybe they know someone in the criminal career. That's kind of hard to say. Maybe they're trying to give them a place to hide out or something like that. That's a little bit of a stretch kind of story, but you gotta kind of come up with some kind of story while you're doing these builds because they take so long. But anyway, this is the little bathroom, which I think is just cute, but it's just a regular bathroom. I did include a laundry area as well, just to make it a little bit more realistic. And then there's going to be a kitchen area as well. And then, like I said, just a very small living area. But this build has been play tested and it is completely functional. I did have to change some of the landscaping. This is so crazy because I should have play tested as I was going. But as I was doing the landscaping, I had this massive kind of plant from the get together. I feel like I'm going to say that wrong if I keep on doing that. But anyway, I had this massive debug kind of plant, which was really cute. And that's mostly what is around the landscaping. And so when I went to playtest, the Sims kept wanting to run around the coffee shop all the way to the back door to come inside. And so I was trying to figure out what was wrong. And usually when they don't want to do something, when they can't complete an action, you just get the little X, or I can't remember. But anyway, it won't tell you why they can't go where you want them to go. It just tells you that they can't go. Well, finally, it actually came up with the little object that was stopping them from being able to come into the coffee shop normally. And it said that it was that landscaping item. And so I went and did the basement trick for the landscaping item. I put it all in the basement, all except for the backyard. I think it was really just the front of the build that I had to put in the basement. And then I lifted it up with the tool mod, like you guys have seen me do before. If you've seen many of my videos, I usually have to do that. But I fixed that, and then I was still having trouble. They were using the front door at that point, but they were kind of being weird about it. Anyway, I finally figured out that the actual problem the whole time was those little debug planks that I had used for the little walkway area in front of the house. That was an object that was stopping functionality, and they wouldn't walk through it, and so they were trying to walk around it, and I guess that's why the landscaping item came up, because they were trying to walk around the little wooden plank, and then the landscaping was getting in their way. And I don't know if that's interesting at all, but I did have issues with that. So if you are in the little basement apartment, you may see a few of those plants floating, and then those little couches as well. And so you'll see that kind of floating up above. But I don't feel like it's super obstructive, so I feel like it's okay. But if you guys want to, like I said, you can delete any of it. It doesn't matter. But that's pretty much it for this build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments if you feel like it. I always love hearing from you guys. And as always, thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me today during this speed build. I hope you all are doing really, really well, and hopefully I will talk to you soon with another speed build.
Ember. Boomer.